Good afternoon. My name is Bellaire, and I'm coming to you live from Melbourne, Florida, where I am enjoying the day because I have something to say to you about Foresters. One of our powerful companies called Foresters has a product that is called PlanRight. It's a final expense product that allows us to help people over the age of 50 and under the age of 86. So between ages 50 and 85. Now I will tell you that here at the Alliance, we have a lot of different final expense companies and a lot of different final expense products. And there's different reasons that you'll choose different ones at different times. But I want to say to you today, I like to go in the home if the person is 50 years or older and show Foresters first, especially when there's any type of doubt of what I might be able to get them approved for. And there's a couple of reasons why, and I'm going to try to illustrate them to you today. The first thing that I love about Foresters PlanRight is you can plan right with Foresters as an agent and help the client. With Foresters, you're required to make a phone call from in the home when you're dealing with this client. This required phone call for PlanRight, final expense, ends up giving you an answer at the end, letting you know whether your client has been approved for a level, graded, or modified product. If the client doesn't get approved level, but they expected it to be level because they answered all the questions on the application no, and they're coming back graded or modified, the cool thing about the phone call, at the end, they tell you which question on the application impacted the answer. So you're basically getting information that will help you determine where to go from there. That's what I love about Foresters. I don't leave the home wondering if it's going to get approved. I don't leave the home, and if it does get declined, then I have to call the client back up and beg to get back into the home. I'm sitting there right then and there, and I'm getting an answer delivered to me on whether the client's approved or not. And if they're not approved, and they come back graded or modified, I go back to the client because Foresters' optical interview tells me which question on the application impacted the answer. So I could easily say, or with medication. It could be a medication that impacts the answer. So I could easily go to the client and I could go back over the question and get the client to confirm or deny that that question should be an issue, whether it has to do with their heart, cancer, stroke, whatever. If it's a medicine, I can Google the medicine, see what the medicine is used for, and then go back through that with the client. Now, a couple of things are going to happen. I'm going to ask the client whether or not it means anything to them, or if this rings a bell. And the things that are going to happen are, one, the client's going to say, yes, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, you're right, I didn't remember I took Aricept, which is for Alzheimer's, or I took that for dementia. Now, if the client agrees, then you either continue on with the Foresters graded or modified, or if they declined you, you know you got to go to like a Great Western or NGL or Kemper. But if they didn't decline them and they're saying they're graded because of COPD, for example, you could take them to Transamerica. Transamerica covers COPD level. If they say they're graded or modified because of cancer within the last 3 years, you could take them to CFG because CFG doesn't care as long as it's over 2 years. So what I love about Foresters PlanRight, the number one thing, is that it gives me an answer before I leave the home. And to be able to save that time, to be able to help that family, is a really cool thing. Second reason I love showing Foresters is that they have all their free benefits. If you haven't seen another video that I did called The Power of Foresters, Foresters offers all these free benefits. Benefits that are just staggering. And the reason Foresters offers these free benefits is because they're a not-for-profit company that gives back to their insureds and their families. They have legal benefits, credit counseling. They have event tickets, scholarship programs, competitive scholarship grants. They have orphan scholarship money. They have orphan child support money. Unbelievable company. You can get all these benefits we talked about in another video for as low as $10 a month with one of their accidental death products if you're age 60 or below. But on PlanRight, to get all of the benefits, including the child support money and the college money, you need to have at least a $10,000 policy or above. You need to at least have a $10,000 policy or above. If you drop below the $10,000 face amount, you'll get all the benefits except for child support and except the college orphaned money. So if a client only wants to do $2,000 or $5,000 or $3,000 and they're age 78 and they don't have children that young anyhow, at least they can take advantage of a free will. Wills run $400 to $500. At least they can get free dinners during Christmas to places like Carrabba's, where I've gone to dinner for free with Foresters. They can get free movie tickets, free museum tickets, free zoo tickets, free concert tickets. Oh my, the things that Foresters does for them is unbelievable. So I love Foresters because of their free benefits. And it's easy to win people over with those benefits. Before I move to the third reason, let me give you a quick story. I had a 78-year-old and a 79-year-old or something like that, starting to forget their ages, but they were up there in their high 70s. This was about back in 2009, 2010. Foresters had just launched. And I was sitting with this couple who needed final expense coverage, and they had sat with other agents trying to show them $10,000 policies. Not agents of ours, but agents of other companies. And I like Foresters also because they're the most reasonably priced company. I think very, very well priced, especially with all their free benefits. But the thing about it is that they didn't do anything because of the expense. And it is expensive when you get to that age, to some degree, to get that kind of coverage. I did a guy the other day who's 78 years old for 25 grand, who's paying $317 a month. But he really fell in love with the benefits. But the reason these two people are never going to be forgotten by me is because during the appointment, they had a 3-year-old running around the house calling him mommy and daddy. And I said, am I hearing her right? Is she calling you mommy and daddy? And they said, yes. And I said, why? And they said, because our only son and his wife died in a car crash, and we ended up becoming her legal guardians. And that happened when she was 1 year old. So this goes back to my previous video. For those of you who haven't watched it, 2 parents can die at the same time. I've got an example for you right here in Ormond Beach, Florida, where I met this couple. So anyhow, I went through the Foresters benefits and I let them know that if they both die before she turns 18, Foresters would also give her $900 a month in child support. And I let them know that if they both died before she turned 25, Foresters would give her 24 grand to go to college. And the woman just started to bawl her eyes out. And I looked at her and I said, I put my hand across the dining room table and I held her hand and I said, why are you crying? And she looked right at me and she said, my husband and I won't be here when she turns 18. And you're giving us so much more than we ever could imagine. That's the power of Foresters. Every other Tom, Dick, and Harry, Sally, Sue, and Sharon that sat with them, with all these other companies, wasn't delivering that kind of a difference. And that's what Foresters is, delivering the difference. And when I delivered that difference to that family, and I showed them that, it was like taking candy literally from a baby. And they both signed up for $10,000 policies, and it was a great sale. And it was a great product for them. It's a powerful company. The third reason I love Foresters, and I'm going to use the board behind me, is the presentation. Not just the presentation when it comes to the free benefits, but the way I'm able to put the product pricing in front of the client. It's the way I'm able to present the menu. I talk to agents all the time. We don't really sell. I don't think I sell. What I do is I do a great show and tell. And the better my show and tell, the more people I'm going to help. So I'm gonna show you a menu that I like to build with Foresters that I can't do with any other company. I can't do with any other carrier that does final expense. Because Foresters is the only one that has what I call the double-double death benefit. You heard me right, the double-double death benefit. And when I talk to clients, I call it that, the double-double death benefit. So check this out. Foresters will go as low as $2,000 face amount. You can do a $5,000 face amount. You can do a $10,000 face amount. You can do a $15,000 face amount. You can do 20. You can do 25. You could do 30. The maximum face amount on PlanRight is $35,000. So I put in front of them these choices. Of course, they can do any amount they want between 2 and 35. They can do $28,200. They can do $17,400. I just give them these as ideas. And I have it prepared already before I go into the home, or I draw it out real quickly on a yellow sheet of paper while I'm in the home. But here's how it works. After I write these prices, I'll make sure they understand that this is a column. This is a column, and I didn't write down prices. I wrote down face amounts. Once I write down these face amounts, I let them know that this column, is there any type of death column? I say to them, no matter how they leave Earth, that column is going to pay a death claim. Unless, of course, they leave Earth as an astronaut. We're not going to pay if you leave Earth as an astronaut. But any other way you leave Earth, this column is going to pay. And that's what you're paying for. Now, just to make sure you understand this, what I'm about to show you is the second column, which doubles the death benefit if it's accidental death. And it's called an accidental death rider that you're allowed to add up until the client is age 80. One of the reasons I love Living Promise is that when I do use Living Promise, Mutual of Omaha's final expense product, they allow me to add the accidental death rider to the client's age 85. Boom, yeah. Not bad. It makes it more valuable. But anyhow, I want you to know that the accidental death rider does cost a little bit, but I include it. I don't show them without it and then add it. I just include it, and that's the price I'm showing them. So, these are what you're paying for, and if you die of an accident, it will double. If you die of an accident, it will double. So no matter how you die, it pays the first column, but if you die of an accident, it pays the second column. And now it's looking a lot more valuable. It's looking a lot better for this client. It's looking a lot better for this client. So I tell them, this is their any type accident column. So if they die of any type of accident, and oh, by the way, this is where I'll come out and say things about accidental death is in the top 10 ways people die in every age group. The Center Disease Control says that. I have a grid, and it proves it, and I show it to them. But I talk about real quickly ways people die of accidents, especially their age. Slip and fall, over-medicate, poison. Then I go into other things like shot by a gun, lightning, drowning. I talk about choke to death. I talk about lightning. I talk about fires. All accidents on the road. Any type of accident will double your death claim, which makes this presentation more powerful than some other competition who does final expense who doesn't have a double death benefit. AARP doesn't have a double death benefit. This one does. It's a pretty cool thing that you could do a double-double. But now, I told you, double-double, double-double-double, double-double-double. Watch this. This death benefit can double again. Can double again. It can become $8,000. It can become $20,000. It could become $40,000. It could become $60,000. It could become $80,000. It could become $100,000. It could become $120,000. And it could become $140,000. This is because if you die of a common carrier accident, common carrier being a plane, train, bus, ferry, as a ticketed passenger, a common carrier accidental death, they'll double it again. So this is no matter how you die. This is if you die of an accident, and this is if you die of a common carrier. This will definitely pay. This might pay. This maybe will pay. But this will only all cost you this much money per month. And I put down how much they'll be paying for it monthly. And I remember the gentleman I just did this week, on this line, I put down $317. Of course, every line was cheaper. But when I put the menu in front of him, I tell them, pick the one you can afford. Pick the one that makes the most sense. He chose that one. Now, let me give you the fourth reason that I love Foresters, and we're going to go backwards to the number one. And it's a prime example of what I was able to do with this gentleman right here the other day. I actually submitted him with another company because he wanted to get 50 grand of coverage, and I wanted to just give him a term policy, and I submitted him with this company, and the company declined him. The company turned him down. And the problem is with every other company in America, you don't get the reason why. They don't tell you. So I wasn't able to figure it out. All I knew is that they said there was an MIB hit. There was an MIB discrepancy. And I've done this several times. And it worked again this time. I called the client up and I said, listen, there's something in your MIB that may be wrong, it may be right, but I don't know what it is based on the answers you gave me on your app. But I have a way of finding out. I have a way of helping you. And if we find out there is something wrong in your MIB, we can dispute it. We can get it fixed. No different than a credit report. And I'll help you and I'll guide you. But what I need from you is I need for you to let me back into your home so we can do another type of product that I get an answer right there on the spot. And if there is an MIB hit, if there is an MIB discrepancy that's causing your ability to get insurance, we'll know what it is because this company shares it with me. Or you might just get approved because this company has a higher threshold than other companies when it comes to approving things. But the only way we'll find out if you let me come out. And he said, come on out. And again, I've done this other times. That exact same pitch. He let me out. I go to his home. I do the Forester's PlanRight, and it gets approved level. No issues. Put the menu in front of him. He picked that one. Why am I smiling? Because that's a lot of commissions. But I also helped the family. And I left a couple of cards with him when I left. And I also found a $75,000 opportunity to help, a $75,000 opportunity for an annuity, which, by the way, reminds me, I've got to run an illustration and send it to him. But I've already gave him 2 books to read as well. That's another tale, another time, another training. What I wanted to do today was explain to you why I like selling Forester's PlanRight. How I like helping my clients plan right with Forester's. Got a couple other tidbits that I want you to know. Once you're done doing the Forester's PlanRight application, and you've made the phone call, you must submit that application within 10 business days. If you don't submit the application within 10 business days, you're going to lose your privilege to write Forester's product. They need that application. So whether the client gets approved, whether the client doesn't get approved, whether the client changes their mind, you need to leave the house with the application. If they change their mind and they don't want to do it, you got to submit the application with the word withdrawn. You just submit the application with the word withdrawn on it. We're going to get ready to that. But so that's the one thing. The other thing is I want you to know that the draft has to happen within 45 days of you writing the application. So for example, this guy didn't want to start it until next year. And because I wrote it yesterday, his first draft ain't going to happen until January 28th. So I won't get counted for that business until next year. But with Forester's PlanRight, I get paid on it this week. Yeah, Forester's PlanRight gives you the ability to get paid before draft. All you got to do is get with your agency manager and say, put me on pay before draft. And Forester's does that only on their PlanRight product. So this is, by the way, remember when I said if the client didn't agree, or at the beginning when I said if the client agreed, you move to the product that works? What if they didn't agree? What if the client says, I've never had a heart attack, I've never had cancer, I'm not on that prescription drug? because you made the phone call, you found out the mistake that's in their MIB or the discrepancy because their name might be familiar with another name or another person. What you do is you submit the app telling Foresters you want it to be approved level because the client disagrees with the optical interview about question number 3A, for example. And you say the client has never been diagnosed with a heart attack, never had heart surgery, blah, 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 and they're going to get a letter from their doctor substantiating that and will be faxing it over to you in the next few days. So you send it to Foresters with that, not making any changes like it says to make because you're not willing to change it. The client doesn't want to go graded or modified. And then you cross your fingers that the doctor's letter comes out like it's supposed to, and it gets mailed to Foresters or emailed or faxed, and Foresters makes a different decision. About 50% of the time, it will work. The other 5, it don't. I had a funny one where a client said she didn't have COPD, told her to get me a doctor's letter. The doctor sent the letter, and the letter said, my client has COPD. So, you don't know what you don't know. But I try to help my clients. Hope that helps you all. Hope that will help you sell more PlanRight. Thank you for checking in. Bye-bye.